Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. I love this episode. It is with a friend of mine, hilarious comedian, Brendan Sagalow. We are talking about serial monogamy, getting cheated on, the current girlfriend trend, and so much more. Brendan's current girlfriend has actually been on the podcast. We don't say who it is in this episode, but if you go to his page, you will be able to figure out who she is. And you'll go, oh my God, I know so many things now. Speaking of knowing so many things, you should know that it is getting expensive for me to host this podcast. And because I keep rejecting ads when you guys are like, that company is problematic, I take it down. But so now we are making less money than we are spending. So if you like this podcast and you want to throw us $1 just to say thanks, patreon.com/howcome. Or if you want to spend $5 and get every single episode and bonus episodes unedited with video, patreon.com/howcome. And just to be nice, I'm going to show you a little bit of what happens every single fucking time I start a recording. I give this spiel and I am met with the same exact answer.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How's this angle? Should I?
I think it's good.
Oh, wait. I put you down.
Why am I down here?
How's the Wi-Fi?
There's like a really crazy thunderstorm happening here, so I'm kind of worried about my Wi-Fi. But
oh, really? Does your Wi-Fi like act up if there's
sometimes
heavy rain and stuff?
It gets sad.
Oh.
It has seasonal affective disorder. Okay, so
Are we going right now?
No. We'll start, but just know that anything I ask you that you don't want to answer, you can say I don't want to answer that. I'll cut it out. It'll be like it didn't even happen. And then afterwards, if we talk about something that you're like, I want that 10-minute chunk taken out, I do that too.
Great. Well, guess what? None of that's going to happen.
Famous last words.
How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
Welcome, Brendan.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. Was that weird? Welcome, Sag Daddy.
That's what I'm looking for.
There we go. Do they call you Sag Daddy because of how your balls sit, or?
Well, that is kind of what I used to be called.
Is it really?
No. Sag Daddy didn't come from that, but
yeah, I was like,
my last name's a curse. I was called
okay.
Saggy Balls. I got the F slur, Agalo. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
A lot. Yeah. So yeah. I was bullied.
Yeah. Somebody has a joke right now that's like, if you get called an F slur as a gay person, it's just somebody pointing out you're gay. But if you get called it as like a straight person, they're calling you a loser.
I guess that's true.
Like in the 90s. And now if you do it, like that person is just like a bad person.
Right. Well, I don't say it.
But you were called it.
I was called it. So a part of me does feel like I could say it. I think you are. You might be allowed to say it if you were
if you get called it enough.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do a poll, you guys. Let us know what you think. Can you say it if you've been called it enough? Is it your own way of taking the word back?
Exactly. I'm taking the word back.
Yeah.
I like that. Like before this, you were like, anything you want us to cut out, you can. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, I want to be able to say the F slur. To 5 seconds in.
You didn't say I want to. You just said, maybe should I be able to?
I should be allowed to.
You posited. Okay. No, I'm trying to help
No, you're right. I brought up the idea that possibly maybe.
Okay, when people call you Sag Daddy, is it ever in like a sexual way?
No, I've never been called that. So that came from this comedian Phil Duckett that we both know. Mm-hmm. So he started calling me that, and then when I started putting out hip hops, I did it as that. So then it just kind of all snowballed.
I love that it's not hip hop music to you; it's hip hops.
Hip hops. When I put out hip hops.
Okay, So Sag Daddy.
Yeah. You can call me Brendan if you want.
Well, I do. But I was just thinking of it like, do you like to be ever called daddy in bed? Has that ever happened?
Yes. And I do like that.
Okay.
But it has to feel natural. Like I don't want to be like, hey, can you do this?
Mm-hmm.
I like when it just happens and then you're like, oh, that's what you do. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I like just going with the flow of whatever someone does.
And you're good at it?
For the most part. I mean, sometimes I get a little distracted. Like if someone's trying to do some sort of role play or anything, I start laughing and I'm like, ooh, I can't do this or whatever.
Yeah.
But after a while, I can kind of get into it and I'm like, all right, well then let's do it. I mean, you know, it just ends up happening.
When you've done role play, does the person tell you that you're about to do it first? Because I've done it before to Ben where I just did it out of nowhere and he was like, what?
No. It's not like it's that way. It's that way that that you do it. It's not like, hey, tonight I want to do a thing where I'm this and you're that.
Mm-hmm.
One time with somebody, we did this thing. It started as a joke, but it just fucking snowballed where I was the Burger King. And they were Wendy from Wendy's.
Oh my God.
We did a thing where we're immortal enemies, and then when everybody else leaves the boardroom, we slide all the chicken nuggets off the table.
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah, and that started as a joke, but we didn't go.
But it ended up being like hot.
Yeah, and we just ended up having sex, and it didn't go, well, that was a joke, now let's get into it. It just kind of like snowballed into it. And it's not like we were in it going like, yeah, Burger King, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like it just started that way and then it snowballed.
You think your fries are better than mine?
Yeah.
They didn't tell me I was working with a chicken fry.
Talk about thin cut fries.
Aren't they like square cut at Wendy's?
Something like that. Yeah,
it's
they're like
oh, you want to put your
square
fry in my round hole between my buns?
Yeah.
If she gets on her period and then you go down on her and she's like, Ronald, what are you doing here? Wrong franchise.
Yeah. The worst thing to happen is if the Subway guy comes.
Who paid your bail, Jared? How did you get here?
How did you get here? Jared, we don't
also,
like you
I'm 30.
Anymore.
Like,
why he's like, yeah, I know. I don't want to be here either. Yeah. I'm looking for the play place.
It's like, I'm going to leave with Ronald, actually.
Yeah.
I want to follow
him. I'm leaving with Wendy because I think she's 14, even though she's 130 years old, or whenever Wendy's come out.
She's like a vampire. She's like like an Edward Cullen.
Like a ghost, yeah. Vampire. Yeah, so it just it can kind of just snowball into that. Like it starts being funny, but I can get my head there where I'm like,
see, so Ben is a bad scene partner then.
Well, yes, I guess so, but so am I. I don't want to act like, I mean, if I can give any advice to Ben, it's like just go with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it. Stop laughing at it. Just go with it.
Well, no, if I'm honest, we're both very bad at like talking during. I mean, like there are maybe 3 sentences he says every time. And
he's like, dude, yeah, and John.
Oh my God. No, I literally have to ask him to stop calling me dude. He doesn't do it in bed, but like it's getting to that point.
I think that's a sign of love.
Dude, you don't even understand. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not your friend. Like, I feel like I'm like my mom.
Do you guys call each other like
your friend.
Babe and stuff?
We call each other Gordon.
Gordon.
Which is a thing
Batman?
that just evolved. Nope. I cannot even say where it's from because it's crazy. And the person will like think we find them sexy, but like we don't. But the only thing I say in bed is like move and like stop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always like, sorry. Like, oh, am I in your hair? Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quick. Sorry. You're so pretty.
Okay, so you're not uncomfortable being called
I was going
daddy.
to say, I'm pretty vocal in bed in that way. I talk.
Okay.
I'm like, this is hot. You're hot. I love this. Love doing this. I love you're this. I love that.
Fuck yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is daddy worthy.
Yeah, but if it's not natural, you know what I mean? Like I had a girlfriend call me daddy when we were having sex, and it was pretty cool. But she started that. Like it wasn't like
yeah. But have you always been good about talking, or is it like a learned skill?
Okay. It's kind of a learned skill. Like you have to just start doing it, I think. But I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
And like it sounds like you're just saying what comes to mind.
Yes, but sometimes you kind of have to think about what you're about to say because my head is not all there. So if I will, say something that's a little ridiculous, and I'm like, or like, when you like are calling someone dude and bro, and you mix it together and you say brood or something like that. Like I'll say that all the time. Like I love your ass.
They're like, my taint? You're like, I love your taint. That's what
I love your taintussy.
But that's like, see, okay, I think that's why I have trouble with it, because I'm like focusing so much on like the thing itself and like enjoying it. And I feel like a lot of people, it's like once you get in your head, it makes like the sex or like having an orgasm harder. So like, how does that not trip you up if you're like filtering out your thoughts while also doing the thing?
The thing that trips me up, like I know women and men are kind of different in that way. Like with women, it's like it takes a lot of concentration, and anything can kind of take you guys out of it, and then it's like it's a lot harder for you guys. Whereas like I don't know, maybe there are some men like that. Me, I'm like I can get back into it pretty quickly, but the things that take me out are when the person isn't. I can feel they're not having a good time, or they're not into it. Then I can like be like, oh, now I feel like, Or if I start getting very like calculated, where I'm like, okay, I've spent a lot of time on the left nipple. Let me, move down to the bathroom areas.
Yes, or maybe give righty a shot.
Right.
Like I literally, she's always neglected for me, and I have to say that several times. I'm like, she's here too.
Yeah, you kind of just have to like go with it, and that's a lot with like what dirty talking or talking in bed is. Kind of, you just kind of have to like say whatever and just fucking flow with it, and then do all of the pickup later, where you're like, did I say that? What the hell? I can't believe I did that.
Yeah. Do you, if you're feeling that the woman is like spacing out or like not having a good time, will you be like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's one of two things happens. I either go, are you okay? What's going on? Like, are you all right? Are you, something like that. The problem with that I've noticed
is it can feel accusatory.
Well, maybe it doesn't really help the situation. You know what I mean? Like it's a sweet thing to do, you like checking up on the person, but they could become embarrassed, or they could be like, no, and then it gets worse, Whereas I'll just go and, like the other thing is you just kind of like, because there is an energy that you can feel where you're like they're into this. This feels good. Like they're liking that. It's a lot about like communication too, where if they're like, well, I'm not really feeling that, move over to here, and then you have to, as a like person, not get embarrassed by being like, oh god, I thought you'd like that. Now you have to go like, okay, yeah, whatever you want, and then I just try to do whatever like I think, and not get too aggressive or like what, unless they want that, and like I just kind of like, you pay attention to their face. It's a lot of work. Like it's like it's like a lot of like, it's like working a crowd kind of. You're like you got to see what they're into, what's going on. You go, oh, that got a reaction kind of thing.
You go, you three are having fun, but that one guy in the corner is not.
I can't stop paying attention to your toes.
So I'm gonna switch it up.
Yeah, I gotta play to that guy for a second. Exactly.
Okay, so wait, before we were recording, we were talking about your girlfriend, and you were like, my current girlfriend, but then you corrected it to who I probably want to be my wife and be with forever. And I love that because there's a current trend on TikTok right now where girls will take videos of themselves and they'll be like, I'm sitting here with my current boyfriend, or I'm sitting here with my current husband.
Yes, my forever girlfriend did that to me.
Really?
Yeah. I think it worked. I think she said my current boyfriend. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So she was like, that was a TikTok trend I saw on TikTok.
So funny. I love your current girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah, she's very, very cool. Very cool and very
good.
Cool. And good. She's great.
And good. Yeah. You've had a few girlfriends over the time that I've known you. So I feel like I could potentially label you a serial monogamist.
Well, that's what they try to do,
I'm always trying to label.
Everyone's you are always trying to label, but also every single person's always trying to label. People are always like, he's a girlfriend guy, he's a serial monogamist. And it bothered me in the way that was like, I get bothered when people try to label me as something where they're like, you're this guy, unless it's like handsome and funny, then I'm like, you don't fucking know me. Like, you don't know what I'm about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, there are no labels. There are no things that I don't believe people are one way. Like you, just because you're not like, I'm a boyfriend guy. And then it's like, so what does that mean?
It means you get lucky a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't call me a serial monogamist because I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life. However, I've wanted one forever. Like if I had found more people, I would be. But I just didn't get lucky enough to find people that I liked and liked me at the same time a lot.
Right. Like I've had flings, and I've had like 3-month dating without any labels kind of stuff, but nobody ever asks about that. No one talks about that. But also when I find
about that.
We can. I mean, it is what it is. But when my thing is like, I find somebody, and like my thing is like, I like, if I'm hooking up with you, it's like, I like you and I want to hang out with you, and you're usually pretty cool. And then it's like, why wouldn't we just be boyfriend, girlfriend? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like addicted to, sex in that way.
Or like companionship. Like, I feel like that's what a lot of people are saying. It's like the kind of negative connotation of serial monogamist is like, you can't be alone, which like,
right.
I don't think that's necessarily it. It's just like, you happen to have like a bunch of people that you got along with and aren't afraid of commitment, because a lot of people are, and that's what keeps,
Right. Well, with my current girlfriend, I had just gotten out of a 2-year thing that was like pretty brutal in a way. I mean, there were some good times. There were a lot of good times, but it was also like fucking crazy. And there was a lot of fighting and da-da-da-da-da. So when I got out of that, I was like, I'm gonna wait. Like, I was like, there's no way. I remember saying to my therapist, being like, I think I'm just gonna like not be in a relationship for a while. And he just like laughed like I had any control over that. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like that's why I now laugh when people do that. We're like, I'm not gonna be. And it's like, you don't have control over it. I mean, you do at the end of the day. You could be like, you could ignore something that might be
you don't go outside anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't meet people. You don't respond to texts.
Exactly. So you could do that.
You could do it.
It's also like, just let it flow and see what happens. You know what I mean? That's why it's like my current girlfriend. I actually said to her, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, cause she was like, we hit that part where it's like, we had been seeing each other for a little bit and blah, blah, blah. And then she was kind of like, I need some security here. Like, I can't, I'm like, scared that it's all just going to go away. And I need some like kind of security. I need to know this is moving forward in a way. And I was just like, well, I'm like, give me some time. I got to go to therapy for a couple times. And then I went to therapy, and I was like, I literally was like, I said to her, like, I don't know if I can do this. I literally just got out of a 2-year thing that was like really, really hard. And then And then we were kind of just like, all right, well, I guess we'll just go our separate ways. And there was like a couple of weeks where we were just not talking. Like she put me on mute on Instagram, and we were essentially just being like, okay, that was what it was. But then we just ended up talking, and I was like, you know what? She's great. Why would I not do this?
Yeah.
Like,
and also I feel like if you give a fuck about her and she's like, I don't want to be in this like wishy-washy situation, you're like, well, I don't want to make you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. So we were,
good for
it
her
was like,
though, doing the muting. So proud.
we were actually just talking about that last night. She was like, remember when I had you on mute? And I was like, oh yeah. And then she had me on mute for a while after that. Like when we were dating, like when we were like boyfriend, girlfriend, she still had me on mute for some reason.
Because she probably just forgot.
She said she forgot, but then she was like, oh, that's kind of nice actually. Like
it is.
We're not in each other's faces too much.
I think it is. So one of my friends recently was like, she started seeing a guy, and she's a comic too, so she posts like a lot of stuff, and she was like, it was really refreshing because like he didn't have the internet, and like I post a lot, so like it was nice to not have some to be in someone's face all the time, even when I'm not around them.
Right. And they're also like the thing of like you're seeing your significant other's online presence
handle. Yeah, or just watching it. Like when I see Ben's at the top of my stories, I'm like, this loser, is he just like watching Instagram all
day? That's so true. I'm always checking my stories to see if my girlfriend has seen it, and I'm like, where is she?
That's
She's not looking at it
though. That's really like, because you guys have been dating a while, so that's like very like like honeymoon even.
It's a little honeymoonish, yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, depending on my attitude towards why I'm doing it.
Right.
If I'm like, oh, where is she? Or if I'm like, well, she doesn't like my stories anymore.
Yeah. Okay, actually, bringing up the where is she? So I've been watching a lot of Love Island, and are you watching it?
I watched the first couple episodes and then I fell off. Things that are every day. This is why I can't watch the news, because if things that are every day, I'm like, I'm like, just wrap it all at the end of the week. Let me know. And so I'm behind, but I'm hearing all this stuff that I'm like, that's happening with Huda and Jeremiah, and I'm like, oh my god.
So you know these two people.
I know the people. Yeah.
So at one point, these people have been hooking up like a week, and they're in bed together. And she goes, would you share your location with me? And he's like, what? Like, she's like,
right
we're
now?
out of the villa. Like, literally, their phones don't have even time on them. But she's like, would you share your location with me? And he's like, no. Like, I'm like not down for that. Are you a location sharey kind of person?
You know, right now with my current girlfriend, I would. And I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've been someone who's been like, brother, But also, that was just because
what's that,
the person
brother?
Oh, brother. That's because the person that I was with at the time that was like, can we share? I was like early 20s. I was dating this girl for a long time, and I didn't. Like, I loved her. Like, she was great, but I wasn't, like, really into her. I didn't really see that much of a future. I was just kind of, like, in this to be in it kind of thing. I didn't have the balls to break up with her when I wanted to. And, it was, so she was like, let's share our locations. And I thought that was so weird. And I was like, that's, like, such a breach of privacy, Like, I'm like, you just know where I am. But now, as a 34-year-old man that wants this girl to be my wife of one day, I'm like, I don't care. I have nothing. I want you to know that I'm at Barcade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alone. I want you to know like where I'm at all times. Like, you're my emergency contact. Like, of course I want you to know where I am. Like, it doesn't skeeve me out that much anymore.
No. And I feel like, so Ben and I share location, and it's mostly because like we're not great at like responding to texts. So it's just easier if like you can just like see the person, and I know like, okay, he's still at that show, and like I don't have to worry that he got like lost in transit or something like that.
Right.
Like it's just kind of like a safety and like comfort thing. But I also know people in like really, really great relationships, like this couple who's been literally married 40 years. And I was like, do you guys share location? They were like, no, I don't want her in my business. But like they're literally together all the time too. It's just like a preference thing.
Yeah, it's a preference thing. I don't mind if she's in my business as long as she's not like making it a toxic thing where she's like, why are you at the stand at you're not booked there tonight, blah blah blah, why are you like, if that was what it was, which I'm sure one of the girls that I dated would probably do that, you know, then it would be like, okay, you're losing privileges, you don't get to see this anymore. And you were saying with one of your exes, you wanted to break up for a while and then couldn't do it. Are you usually the breaker upper, or is it like so my high school relationship, I wasn't, and it was devastating. And I always thought, I was like, I'm never going to be the one to break up. Like, I'm a pussy when it comes to that. I don't want to hurt anybody. And, you know, I also got like, you know, that was like, oh God, I know, you know, I just was like, I'll always be the one getting broken up with. And then with the girlfriend after that, I was with her for like 3 years, and then she broke up with me, actually. And then we got back together, and then I broke up with her, and then we may have gotten back together again, actually, for like a really quick time. And then I was
very
like,
Pam and Tommy Lee.
Oh yeah, very Pam and Tommy Lee without the without it being like a sexy rock star thing. It was just like, you know, she had started to I think so. She broke up with me. And she did it on birthright. She went to Israel, and then broke up with me. So I was
she got brainwashed into hooking up with a soldier.
Definitely,
that's what they do.
I don't think she'll ever admit it, but she definitely. I mean, there's no way you break up with me while you're out of the country. You know, not to not make yourself feel like, okay, now I can hook up with some guy.
Totally.
Right. So I was like, whatever. Then we got back together, and then she started to. She wasn't in the business, and she was young, like early 20s, so she didn't understand that like I need to be out all the time and blah blah blah. Now there was also, I was getting hammered, so it was like I was being like, I have to do this, you know, like if I want to be a famous comedian, I gotta go out and I gotta get fucking hammered till 4 a.m. And so
I like how you like low key turn into like John Lennon too. You're like, I have to do this.
I've got to do this.
Me and my boys got to go drinking every night.
We've got to go drinking, you know. And so then she like so she started to like soft affair with this guy that she had like a kickball. You know, she was like in the like an adult kickball league with
Zug Sports or Zog or whatever.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
My ex used to do that shit.
Fucking, they gotta. There should be a law against Zug Sports.
Yeah.
Because it's like creating all these affairs.
Yeah.
But she was like, oh, this guy, you know, he's a friend of mine. She was texting him all the time. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, you're texting all the time? They went to a concert together. I had a show, and she was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see like Mumford and Sons at the Forest Hill Stadium with fucking Sean. And I was like, okay.
You're going on a date.
You're going on a date. Yeah, you're going on a date. Great. Awesome. So then I like caught her in the act.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
Like, oh man, it was brutal. I had gotten home. We were living together. And I walked in after that concert. She's laying in bed, and I got into bed, and I like woke her up a little bit with like a kiss or whatever. Hey, I'm home. And she was like kind of out of it, and she was like, hey, she kissed me, and then she was like, you gotta go because Brendan's gonna be home soon. And I was like, what did you just say? I like screamed at her. I'm like, you're fucking, what the fuck did you just say? Isn't that insane? Oh my
God.
So then I started going through her phone.
Yeah.
And I saw her flirting with the guy and being like, what would you do if I was, you know, just flirting, just like, not like super sexual shit, but like, I can spot flirting from a mile away.
Totally.
So I was like, this is over. I was like, you want to be with this guy? This is over. This is over.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, come on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's over. Bye.
Yeah.
And then I moved out.
Well, I mean, not that that's good at all, but at least it's like very concrete evidence, because like there's been so many times, or not so many, but like a few times with my ex that I suspected things, but I could never prove it. And so I just stayed in it.
You become like resentful. Then get this. We started dating again.
No.
You know, she was nice. Like she was cool. Like whatever. I mean, she's not cool. I don't know
if she's nice.
She wasn't nice either. But she wasn't like, we worked through it essentially. Right. Yeah. I just didn't have self-respect.
Sure.
So we worked through it, you know, where I should have been like, we're not working through this. Fuck you. Yeah. Like, which by the way, we're still cool. Like we don't talk ever, but like, you know, every once in a while, hey, how you doing? Good. Blah, blah, blah. Good. You know, shit like that. Cause we were together for a while. So it's like, you know, and it didn't end. So then what had happened, what was the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially was...
She was sleeping and she's like, all of you need to leave. Brendan's going to be here.
So then she goes, she was like, so this is what broke the camel's back. I was getting drunk all the time. She was like, we were fighting all the time. And I hate fighting. I can't fucking stand fighting, to a point where it's like I have to learn to be able to have little tiffs. Like, you know, 'cause you're always going to have a little tiff.
Tiffs are normal.
You're always going to have little tiffs with your boyfriend or girlfriend. There's always going to be something that you have to be like,
and if you don't, you should be suspicious because that person wants you for something.
Yes. Which maybe I should be a little suspicious of my current girlfriend.
No, she muted you.
We have little tips too, you know, every once in a while. But it's like you could talk through it. It's not like, you know, especially not drinking has helped me tremendously in that way, where it's like I'm trying to be more. I haven't really been smoking weed that much, and I'm just trying to get more clear headed because the world is crazy, and I can't be high for it. I have to be on my phone. I got to be on my toes, you know. So anyway, what broke the camel's back? Get this. We go to this wedding, right? And it's this like ginger guy, and he's marrying this like Indian woman, right? Okay. So we go to this wedding upstate. It's like a weekend thing. It sucks. And there's something in their religion where the reception was like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. And you're standing for all of it, except for like you get 20 minutes to sit down. So you're standing for the full fucking thing.
Terrible.
It's brutal.
The worst part of stand-up is the standing for me.
I hate it. I wish I could lay down. I wish I could be in my house doing it, and then it's projected over the comedy club.
That's why I loved COVID. But go on. Okay.
I had a podcast with Scott Chaplin, comedian, at the time, and I get on my podcast and we just start talking about how brutal it is. I can't believe they do that. So then the guy listened to that episode for some reason. He wanted to support me. He wanted to support my ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, right? Okay. And he goes, so he listens to it. Then he contacts my current girlfriend at the time. And he goes, hey, just so you know, I'm very uncomfortable because Brendan... Well, I wanted to listen to Brendan's podcast because I wanted to support your boyfriend, please. And then he's being very rude about the whole thing. And so he tells her that, right? I go to meet up with her wherever she is. I think she was living in Long Island at the time. So I go to Long Island and I go and she goes, hey, so blah, blah, blah told me that he listened to your podcast and you were being like rude about the wedding. And I was like, what? And she's mad. She's like mad. Yeah. She's like starting a fight. There isn't like hey, do you know anything about that? Like there's no benefit of a doubt for this person you supposedly love. Yeah. Right. So she starts getting like really mad at me. And I go, did you listen to it? And she goes, no. And I go, Okay, whoa. I go, so you're taking this guy's side.
Right. I was going to say, the only reason to go straight for you is if she's already done her own
research.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go listen to it. So I'm like, you can't say shit until you listen to it.
Not to sound like a flat earther, but do your own research.
Do your own research, okay? There's a big ice wall at the end of the earth, okay? Yeah. And everything
Don't just
is
be a sheep.
Hologram. Yeah, sheep. I should have called her a sheep. I should have went, bah, sheep. So anyway, I just went, I can't do this anymore. That's what broke it. I mean, she literally cheated on me, and I still got back together with her. But when I'm like, I gotta be able to say what I want on my podcast.
I think that's what it was too. It's not even like you trust this guy. It's like, this is what I do as a job, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, I joke around about my life. Like, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Essentially, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. You don't fucking get it. I don't want to be with you anymore. So we broke up. And then that was like the first time I broke up with someone and I felt like empowered because I was like, I know I'm never getting back with her. Mm-hmm. And then the next girlfriend.
You're my girlfriend. Stand up is my wife.
Yeah. Essentially.
Be gone.
Be gone, girlfriend. Be gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story, but that's just what happened.
It's really crazy though.
It's a pretty crazy story, yeah.
There's a girl who dated one of my friends. It was a lesbian couple. And she's been calling all the podcasts that my friend has been doing where she talks about her and being like, take this down. Like, that's about me. And she doesn't even name her or anything, but it's like, you dated a comic. Like,
yeah, what'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Not that it's like, oh, that doesn't hurt, but like, I don't know. If you write a book then or something that like says your perspective, but you can't get the other person to like, I don't know.
I mean, I think about that sometimes because I have jokes about my last ex and I'm kind of like, I'm like, well, I feel bad that I'm talking about her, but this is kind of like how I have to get this out. It's like therapeutic in a way.
Also, some of those jokes have always hit. So you're like, I'm not even like thinking about you, the person anymore. Like, this is just part of my repertoire. Or like, I feel like my quote unquote boyfriend is like an amalgam of a bunch of people where I'll just be like, like if he's like really shitty in my set one day, like I'll have a bunch of things that like, maybe it's 3 guys. Like, or whatever. Like one of my friends has been opening her sets for years being like, so I just broke up with my boyfriend. She's married. Like, it's not it's not necessarily real. Yeah.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Like sometimes after a while of doing these jokes, like there is a new joke where I'm connected to it now as the person because I'm thinking about her when I wrote it. But I also have another joke where I've been doing it for like a year or 2. And I'm like, it's not even about you anymore. It's just the joke.
Yeah.
It's just what the joke is now.
Ben did this joke once on stage. And like, I don't know if you know this, but we got pregnant once. And
what?
Yeah. And we had to have an abortion. But it was like 2 months or something after that. He's on stage. We're still not like official. And he tells this joke about like, I just got my girlfriend pregnant. Like we used those Abercrombie and Fitch condoms that come pre-washed and pre-torn or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, he's talking about me like on stage. Like, this is so cute. And then he got off and I was like, you talked about it, us getting pregnant. And he was like, that joke is 15 years old.
Well, that kind of is what comedy is. You write a joke for every single situation. And then when it happens to you, you just start doing the joke again.
Yeah, like I had never heard it until that point, and I was just like, ooh. And then I was like, wait, did you get somebody else pregnant? He's like, no, I just like thought of that as a joke 15 years ago.
It's a great joke.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so you used to have a joke about getting friend zoned, which was so fucking funny.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and it was like...
Okay, so women do this thing that when you guys know one of your friends wants to like you or something like that, I think you in your head you go, I'm gonna call him like dude and bro a lot, and hopefully he'll get it kind of thing. Buddy. I mean, if a girl calls you buddy, you're like one step above a lizard to that person. Sincerely. If she's like, what's up, bud? You're like, you know. It's so funny because it doesn't work. I've been like, dude, I still have a crush on you. You know what I mean? Girls being like, you going to the bar tomorrow, dude? Oh, I'll see you over there, bud. And I'm like, I'm still in love with you, my guy. Nothing has changed here, muchacho. Oh, buddy, old pal. You know? When you left, I smelled your seat for about a half an hour, chief.
I did that joke for a while, and then as you get older, there's some jokes that I'm saying to a crowd that I'm like, I'm a grown man and I'm talking about the friend zone. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so it was interesting because I remember there was one time, I think it was when your special was coming out, and you were like, oh, like doing like the podcast circuit. And I think it was during COVID. And we had talked about it, and you were like, yeah, I want to talk about like getting friend zoned and stuff. And at the time I was just like, these men. I was like, and I love you.
Right.
And I love that joke. But at the time in my head, I was like, how dare people think that like girls wanting to be friends with them is bad.
Right.
You know?
Right. I completely agree.
Because there's no like equivalent really for us, except for like my version of getting friend zoned. And this is something that guys may have enjoyed if they were on the receiving end, was my friends would fuck me, but they wouldn't date me.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't like be nice to me. And I was like, that's so much worse than somebody just being like, I'm not into you, but like I'm happy to have you around. You're like a smart, caring, friendly person.
Right. There is no equivalent to it. And honestly, like, if I really thought about the friend zone now as like because when I did that album, when I was doing that joke, I was like 28 or something. I was still kind of like young and dumb and all that shit.
Young and dumb and full of cum.
Now, I would say there's so many different types of everything. And even the word friend zone is like, doesn't do what that experience is justice. It kind of trivializes it to something that you can argue of like, whoa, sorry that I want to be your friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it is essentially like, you're
getting shut down.
In my experience, it was my fault. It wasn't like I wasn't making the move. I wasn't saying how I felt. And like I never even got mad at women for it. I was just like, that just had a name to it, so I would say that.
Totally.
But there was also times that I've had where now even I know somebody who definitely did that a lot, where it like there's a girl that I know now who I'm friends with, so I don't, and I'm in a loving relationship, so I don't fall into the trap of it. But there is a girl that I still know now that is like very flirty, very like, she'll call you like babe and be like, you're so cute and da 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 da. But when you try to get to that, okay, all right, well, let's put your money where your mouth is, they're like, oh no, I want to be friends. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't be.
Well, that is real too, though, where like, and I've seen girls do it. I've seen my straight guy friends do it to my gay guy friends. Like where the person, it's not enough to just be friends with you. They want to know that you want them too, but they don't ever want to give that to you. Yeah. And that's something more sinister than friend zoning, because like, I think like just being like, no, like I'd rather be friends, like you're like a nice guy, whatever, is different than like, come over, I need to cuddle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, there's definitely, that's why it's so gray. It's like, there's definitely some people that do it just for, it's just fun to flirt. Like, it's like, especially there's probably straight guys that are like, it's fun to flirt with a gay guy. You know what I mean? Like,
they do.
Like, it's not, I'll never be that. And so it's fine that it'll never happen.
It's kind of being like, you have to know that ultimately I would never be with you because of something, like whether like, I don't know, like you're ugly or like, I think you're a loser or like, well, but like I'm straight, you know, like there's something that it's like, you know, that we would never actually be together.
Right.
Like you can't be taking this seriously, but it's like, no, I don't know that because like I have like self-worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, it was such a big part of my life when I was in high school because, you know, obviously high school, there's all these hormones and emotions flaring up and all that stuff. But I was never good at making a move. I was never good at like at that time, you know, I was always a coward with it. Could never say how I felt. Now take that, mix it with meeting girls that loved to do that kind of stuff. And those are the people that I would attract to because I would go, I'm a little chubby lesbian girl like kid, you know, in high school. So I'm like nobody really wants to, you know, nobody really had a crush on me. And then there's girls that would do that stuff. That's why I was attracted to because I was like, ooh, some attention. But I could never go, so where's this going? Like, are we doing anything? I would never even make a move because so it was just this weird cycle. And really no one's to blame besides lack of communication.
Yeah. But also like I've seen people do it with like, you know, like the funny fat friend or whatever, or if it's like a white person, I've seen them do it to like black guys before where it's like, my buddy, he's so whatever. It's like, but like they're like secretly a bit racist and like they're like, but we would never hook up. And it's like, but why would you never hook up?
Right.
Like, why would you think that?
Right. I mean, when people try to own marginalized people all the time with that shit. Like you always see that with women and gay men, you know, when they're like, these are my gays. And it's like, hey, hang out with whoever you want to hang out with, but don't say these are my gays. You know what I mean? Not like, even if they don't have a problem with it, you gotta see, like, they're really, you know, I don't think that's a big issue, but that is a thing that happens. And it's like, hey, if everybody's cool with it, everybody's cool with it. But just so you know, you're going, these are my gay guys. I own them. You know what I mean? And it
should be awarded to you by the gays.
Right.
Who go, you are always with gay guys. And you go, yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Because
yes, I am always with gay guys.
I like man energy without the thought of these guys, knowing that these guys don't want to fuck me.
Literally. So that's the other thing about like the friend zoning thing is I have always been very uncomfortable with a guy being friends with a guy who I know has a crush on me or has had a crush on me because I'm like, I don't know. It's not even that I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for them. It's like, I'm like, they're not going to stop trying.
Right. At any moment you could be, it's not like they're like, done. I mean, that does happen with crushes.
And if they do, then you're offended and you're like, there's just no reason.
Right. It does happen with crushes where you're like, I used to have a crush on whoever and then now I don't. That something just kind of went away. But
I can't imagine what it's like to know one of your friends wants to fuck you and you're just waiting for them to have like 3 Coronas and just walk up to you and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Remember when like that guy broke up with you and you were like, I'll never find the right guy? And I was like, maybe he's closer than you think. Where are you going? Come back.
You never know if you're ever like, hey, you want me to suck your cock right now? And they're like, yes, please. You're like,
but certainly.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you. So you've been walking around with that, knowing that if that situation ever happened, you'd take it.
Mm-hmm.
But can't blame them.
Yeah. If you can't blame them, beat them.
If you can't beat them, blame them.
And if you can't beat them, blow them.
I like that.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt. All right, so we're actually winding down now.
Wow.
I have to ask you, do you remember your first time coming?
Oh my god. Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I do, because it was yesterday. No. So when I was younger, and I was tugging on my little pig's tail, I would get to the point of I don't know if you could relate to this. I don't know if this is but like you get to that moment, the peripheral,
Yeah,
you're going ooh, and I thought that's what like
it was.
like you get when you get all tingly and you're like whoa, and then you like calm yourself back down, and I would do it in my living room while my Spanish maid was walking around, and I'd literally be like fucking, I would be like, you know, Harvey Weinsteining her under the covers, you know, while she's just walking around. And I was a little boy, so she's the pedophile.
Yeah.
And so then I
how little?
Like 20. No, no, I was probably like
when I was a boy of 33.
I go, what day is it today? No, I think I was like in the range of 9 to 12. You know, like that range. I don't really remember when, but I do remember because I would do that all the time, and I would get to that and then stop touching myself, and then it
like jerking or like mushing.
Jerking, like literally like going like this with it, and like because I think I had seen that somewhere, and or like I think I literally was holding my hand steady and like fucking my hand, you know what I mean? Like my little boy dick was going like I was going like into my hand, and and then and then I remember going, and then I I remember going, well, what if I didn't stop? You know, what if I just kept going? It was an amazing moment where I was just like, what if I just kept going? And then something happened, and I was like, whoa! And I remember coming, but it was like not this. It was like this see-through-y, gooey, whatever. It wasn't like cum. It was it was like whatever that was.
But was it always in the living room?
Yeah, this time was in the living room. Well, not always. I mean, this time it was.
And was she there for the the big show?
Yes, my first time ever coming.
And that's why you're a performer. You need an audience.
I thought you were going to say like sexual assaulter, but
no.
yeah. So that I had an audience, and I was a stripper essentially.
Yeah.
I was kind of like an Amsterdam stripper,
an exhibitionist.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just such a good feeling to be like, wow, I kind of discovered something. Like I put my mind to it essentially.
You're like, I gotta tell people about this.
yeah. 29 years later, or 30 years later.
My friend Betsy told me a story about at a sleepover. She like suggested to the dad. She's like, what if we had like a disc on the table that rotated so we could all get the snacks? And he's like, that's a Lazy Susan. It already exists. And she's like, no, I just came up with it.
No, you don't get it. It's
no, like I discovered this, and I'm going to tell people.
That is essentially.
And I'm going to copyright it.
That's every time I write a joke. I go, and then someone goes, well, that person already does that. And I go, fuck.
Go, no, they don't.
I know. I was just fucking. I was just kidding around.
No. I'm saying, if somebody has the same one, I go.
Oh, you go. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I invented that. I invented that women and men are different.
And dating is hard.
I invented that dating is hard.
I invented that. Yeah.
I invented.
And then there are the comics that'll just go on Twitter and go, that joke's funny. I bet it'd be funnier coming out of my mouth.
Oh, yeah. Tons of them. That it would be funny coming out.
Thieves.
Or the people that will... I've been getting a thing where, like, I think bots online are like... I think there's, like, the dead internet theory. I think that's, like, true. And I think there's a lot of, like, fake accounts.
What is that?
It's... The dead internet theory is, like... It says that... I might fuck up the numbers here, but... This might be unbelievable, but 70% of the accounts that are online are not real people,
fake.
They're AI, and they just I mean, look this up, but they've created like an AI generated thing where people who comment things that they've done, that the other people have commented on videos that are like the ones that you're posting, you'll get comments like that. So like, for instance, I did a joke where I said, I put it out this week where I said a girl that I dated would drink and I don't drink, and she would want to have sex, and I would have to be like the end of Willy Wonka and be like, no, you drink the fizzy lifting drink, so you get nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
You lose.
You lose. And then she'd be like, well, I'll let you put it in my ass. And I'm like, Charlie, you've won. Yeah. And so I put that joke out, and somebody commented, stolen. And I was like, Who stole this? Who stole my exact, like, nobody's doing that punchline. And also, this is my exact, that's my life. Like, I'm talking about something that happened in my life. So
that's my life.
So I'm like, I think there are bots.
Yeah, 100%. And stolen, like those bots too are like to get maximum engagement.
Yeah.
Because if somebody sees stolen on it, then they'll go, ooh,
right.
I want to click down on that comment to see like who it's stolen from, and then like, is this worth fighting about? And should I yell at this man?
Yeah. I think the people whoever is in charge of that situation, like I think the heads of the heads of Instagram, the heads of TikTok, and all the people that create these bots should be put in a fucking like empty room and just have their neck slit over like a fucking just killed. I think they should all be killed.
What's the point of the empty room?
I don't know. I'm trying to set I'm trying to create an imaginary thing. You know?
I thought it was going to be like, they have to be in a room and talk to each other.
And figure it out. No.
And figure it out.
I'm just picturing the scene from The Walking Dead. I don't know if you ever watched that show. With the zombies. Cannibals. Yeah, zombies suck. But anyway, I really don't. I hate them. I hate them.
Yeah. I actually, this is not How Come related at all, but it is on this subject. So early on in this current fighting of Israel-Palestine, I had reposted this Israeli guy being like, come on, like, we need to cease fire. Like, there's so many people being killed. Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. And somebody in my family DM'd me and they were like, don't repost this. The top comment is, we love Hamas. And I was like, what? Because this family member is very pro-Israel,
sure,
but also very online. And I was like, that's the top comment? I'm like, I don't even see that comment. And I'm scrolling for like 10 minutes trying to find this comment. Yeah. I cannot find it. And I go, send me a screenshot because I don't see it at all. And she goes, what's the top comment for you? I said, funny enough, the top comment for me is 400,000's not enough. We should kill them all. And she goes, oh, I don't see that. And I don't like that either. Like, that's not good.
Wow.
And so we both screenshotted like our top comments we were seeing. And yeah, basically the thing is like the algorithm wants you to be as angry as possible and think that people are as polarized as possible to get more engagement.
Yeah, they're awful. I mean, it's really awful. And if we didn't have to be on it for our careers, there's no way I would be on this stuff. I mean, it gets, they're sending me also, and I know this is like a or not red herring, but like I'm a guy, so it's like hard to believe. But all I see on my For You page, I've had to like make sure my shit is like what I want to see, because it's just like naked women coming up all the fucking time. And it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But most of the time, I'm not enjoying that. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I am a guy, and it's like, ooh, it becomes all fucking dead-eyed. And I'm like, I don't want. It's the same reason I'm trying to cut out weed. It's the same reason I cut out booze. Yeah. Like, I don't want these toxins in my life. And
yeah, we're cutting out booze and boobs.
And boobs. There's only 2 boobs for me. And then it's like,
yeah. And they're mine.
Right. No. I don't want to be worried, and they're mine.
I don't even like my girlfriend's boobs. I only want my own boobs.
Well, whatever. Last thing I'll say is like, I just don't want to be worried that like, I want to be able to like scroll with my chick and like scroll on my For You page and be like, that's funny, like while we're laying in bed.
Or like on the subway.
Yes. Yeah. Or like just in life. I don't want this shit coming up. And they just send that. It's awful.
See, I think Ben is to blame for this because his whole For You page is butts, and he made it that way. And I really don't mind at all. And it is kind of funny because I discovered this girl on TikTok recently who I love. Her name's Ari Kitsia, and she does like really funny like little sketches on TikTok, but it turns out she's a bop, which means she makes like Instagram and TikTok safe content, but is ultimately promoting like her OnlyFans and like that stuff. And she like makes videos, special ones. But so I'm showing her one day and I'm like, I love this girl. She's so funny. He goes, Remy, that's one of my butts.
Oh, so you guys came together on that.
Yeah, we came together.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad we were able to come together on this podcast. You're always a joy. Yeah. Highly recommend going to see Brendan live. Where can they find you on the dreaded internet?
Obviously Instagram. Instagram, TikTok, all that horrible shit. And then also punchup.live/Brendan Sagalow for all my dates.
Okay, and your handle is just Brendan Sagalow.
Just Brendan Sagalow. Yep.
Okay, great. You guys, you can follow me at Remy Casimir. Follow the podcast at How Come Podcast. If you want to write to us and say anything about the episodes, please do. Always curious, especially about that poll from the beginning of the episode. If you have been called it, can you say it? If you want to watch this episode with video, patreon.com/howcome. And yeah, Brendan, I have to ask you one more question. I have to ask everybody after a sexual experience.
Sure.
Did you finish?
Yeah, I finished a couple hours ago.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming. I came to, and thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time on How Come. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.
That ruled. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Oh my God. So about Ari Kitsia, not only did Ben and I come together on liking her, the bop that I like, who he's like, that's one of my butts. But we actually joined OnlyFans together because of her. Like, I wanted to see some of her videos because I really like her, and I didn't want to pay for it myself. So I was like, I want a present from you. Give me money. No, I was like, make an account. And he was like, let's make one together. And I was like, that's a good idea because then I have the login, but like, we'll just put your credit card in. You guys, we were doing this at like 2 a.m. We were a little drunk. And it took so long to make an account. Like, you have to like scan in your face and your ID and like all this stuff. I was like, oh my God, I can't imagine being like a horny person alone. Just like you have like your dick out or like your toys out and you're just like, oh my God, I want to see this. And they're like, scan your face, scan it again, flatter, more light. And you're like, oh my God, I just want to watch some porn. But we did it successfully. And we watched a video or two together and we banged and it was great. Like, I had a lot of fun. I will say she has a lot, or maybe the ones that we watched, there was like a lot of blowjobs in them, which I did not like. So I need to watch, maybe I just need to watch more of her like girl on girl stuff. But wait, this is huge. I recently just found out like 2 weeks ago. So she started dating Young Gravy, who, if you're on TikTok, you might know who that is. Or like, if you like really know a lot of music, you might know him. He's a cutie. He apparently just gave her first orgasm, which I think is really fucking iconic, but also crazy because she's been spending years making spicy content. And I'm just so happy for her. So congratulations, Ari Kitsia. We are so happy for you. And maybe I'll use my little chat feature on OnlyFans to try and get her on this podcast because, she would be an iconic guest. All right. That's all I wanted to tell you. Bye, guys.